Battle Through the Heavens. Chapter 160. The Massive Power Gap Between Dou Qi and Dou Qi. The glass shards inside his ribs dull into a molten heat that anchors his feet to the cooling stone. He releases the pressure in a ragged tremor, feeling the jagged edges of his pulse finally smooth into a heavy, deliberate rhythm. Beneath sweat-soaked robes, a new weight settles into his limbs as the boy fades and the fighter finally stands. Xiaoyan's robes billowed and snapped against his frame for a long moment before finally settling. He forced a lungful of stale air out from deep in his chest and stood up. He looked at Yao Lao, who watched him with a squinted grin. Xiaoyan let out a sharp laugh. He could not hide the heat of victory in his eyes. 1 year. He had finally broken through. He was no longer a Dou Qi. He had officially become a Dou Qi. This promotion meant he was no longer just part of the common crowd. Even if a Dou Qi was still considered a low-tier fighter on the continent, it was leagues ahead of a Dou Qi. Most importantly, Xiaoyan was young. He had nothing but time to climb higher. He clenched his fists. A new sensation of overflowing strength rushed through every limb. Only after stepping into this rank did he truly understand the canyon of difference between a Dou Qi and a Dou Qi. He thought back to his fight with Mu She, and a cold shiver ran down his spine. If Yao Lao had not taught him that D-class technique, all the effort in the world would not have saved him. He would have been the one dead on the ground, not his enemy. Xiaoyan stood still and thrust out his right hand, snapping his fingers shut. Purple Dou Qi flared across his skin instantly. The energy surged, then pulled tight against his clothes. It formed a solid layer of defense, the Dou Qi armor. Because he had consumed the purple flame, faint violet flickers danced across the surface of the armor like living things. This armor was the trademark of a Dou Qi.
It was their most practical tool. During the fight with Mu She, Xiaoyan had seen just how much of a difference it made. Back then, he could only manifest small patches of energy. Now, it covered him from head to toe. Before, his attempts at armor were just for show. They did not boost his speed or his defense. Only now, as a true Dou Qi, did the armor provide the combat support that every lower fighter dreamed of.
Xiaoyan moved with a grin, throwing a series of lightning-fast punches. His body had been tempered by the energy of heaven and earth during his breakthrough. Now, his raw physical strength alone was enough to make his fists whistle through the air with a sharp, piercing sound. Yao Lao watched the boy test his new limits and shook his head with a chuckle. Once Xiaoyan calmed down, the old man spoke.
Did the flame mantra evolve? What rank is it? Middle or high?
Xiaoyan stopped his shadowboxing. He nodded and closed his eyes, sinking his consciousness back into his body. He went deep, down to the core in his lower abdomen. The large, pale yellow vortex from his Dou Qi days was gone. In its place was a purple whirlpool no larger than his palm. As he scanned the center of the spinning energy, his heart jumped. Inside the vortex, a dozen tiny drops of purple liquid drifted like minnows in a pond. He wrapped his mind around one drop and felt a surge of joy. That single tiny bead held a staggering amount of concentrated energy. This was the secret of the Dou Qi. To a Dou Qi, the energy vortex is like a balloon filled with air. There is only so much air a balloon can hold before it reaches its limit. If you try to force more in, it simply bursts. But a Dou Qi compresses that air into liquid. A single drop of liquid Dou Qi is denser, purer, and far more potent than the gas that came before.
Because of this transformation, a Dou Qi can store a massive amount of energy that dwarfs anything a Dou Jie can carry. The gap between them was not just a step, it was a leap. Xiaoyan pulled his mind away from the vortex. Even though the liquid energy was only the size of a fingernail, he knew it would have taken a third of his entire previous energy reserve just to create one drop. He took a breath and began to cycle his energy along the paths of the flame mantra. As the purple Dou Qi flowed through his meridians, he felt the fire energy from the world around him seep through his skin. It joined the flow, creating a perfect cycle. When the energy returned to his core, it felt thicker and more vibrant than it had just minutes before. Xiaoyan opened his eyes and looked at the waiting Yao Lao. He shrugged, his face falling into a bit of a pout.
Huang class middle rank. It only went up one level.
Yao Lao did not look disappointed. He laughed at the boy's frustrated expression.
Evolution requires massive amounts of energy from a heavenly flame. Your purple flame is just a spark from a beast. Moving up one sub-rank is already an achievement. Besides, the flame mantra is unique. Even at Huang middle rank, its power rivals the high-rank techniques of others. Be satisfied with that.
Xiaoyan gave a wry smile and nodded. He had hoped for a miracle, something that would jump him straight to the Xuan class. But miracles were hard to come by. He shook off the disappointment. He had survived the pain of the purple flame, and even if the result was not a leap, it was progress. He had time. He would take it step by step. One day, he would find a real heavenly flame and push this technique all the way to the heaven class. Yao Lao spoke again.
Since you are a Dou Qi now, our time in the magical beast mountains is over.
Good.
Xiaoyan said.
Living in the woods like a wild animal was starting to get old.
We leave tomorrow.
Yao Lao said. His voice turned serious.
By my count, the 3-year agreement at the Yunlan sect is less than 8 months away.
Xiaoyan went still. He looked out at the night sky beyond the cave entrance. After a long silence, he spoke.
I wonder what rank she has reached by now.
Do not worry. I cannot make you a Da Dou Qi in 8 months, but I can certainly push you up a few stars. And even if she has some trick up her sleeve to boost her power beyond yours, you should trust your master. In this Jia-Ma Empire, there are very few people I take seriously. Not even Yun Yun, the leader of the Yunlan sect, would give me much pause.
I never doubted you, teacher.
Yao Lao rolled his eyes and waved a hand.
Tomorrow, we leave the mountains. Our next stop is the border of the Jia-Ma Empire, the Togar Desert. I should warn you now, the training there will be far more brutal and dangerous than anything you faced here. Get your mind right.
The Togar Desert. My 2 brothers are out that way. It would be good to see them.
Xiaoyan thumped his chest.
As long as it makes me stronger without killing me, I can handle whatever you throw at me.
Yao Lao gave him a look that was not entirely friendly.
I hope you keep that same energy when we get there. If you try to run, I will kick you right back into the sand.
Xiaoyan laughed awkwardly and stayed quiet.
Go get some rest. We move at dawn.
Yao Lao started to fade back into the ring, but he stopped.
I traveled through the Togar Desert years ago. I heard rumors of a heavenly flame hidden deep in the sands. I never found it then. If your luck holds, maybe you will.
He vanished into the ring before Xiaoyan could even process the words.
A heavenly flame.
Xiaoyan stepped out to the mouth of the cave, his fists trembling with excitement.
After feeling what the purple flame could do, his hunger for the real thing was like a fire in his blood.
I will find it.
He whispered to the dark. The words echoed through the cave, sharp and hungry.